Welcome to Saul Talk, a WB Saul High School of Agricultural Sciences production featuring the class of 2021 Natural Resource Management students. This episode, we will address the environmental injustice and racism, a systemic issue around the world, specifically targeting and destroying our quality of life for our communities of color.
There are many organizations that have been fighting for environmental justice for years, like 350 Philadelphia, Power Interface, Equal World, and many more. 350 Philadelphia is a volunteer-led campaign-focused initiative connecting and organizing a strong grassroots base to address climate change. 350 Philadelphia had mentioned that their mission is to advocate for the right of the poor and people of color to live in communities that are safe from environmental impacts, not to bear a significant proportion of industrial emissions, governmental or commercial operations, or policies. 350 Philadelphia fights for solutions to the climate crisis that science and justice demands. They promote a rapid transition to a just and sustainable economy through education, protest, advocacy, and organizing community-building events. Another organization, Power, supports a rising generation of new leaders and believes that the hardest hits are Philadelphia's low-income immigrants and communities of color. People living in privileged zip codes can live 20 years longer than the average in the most impacted places. Power is helping by no new stuff of fossil fuel infrastructure, green transitions for PGW, and many other things. Power also compares environmental racism and injustice to the COVID pandemic. They said that people with low income get different treatments, and that is exactly what is happening with the climate crisis. In the summer, some neighborhoods of Philadelphia, like Hunting Park, can experience temperatures that are 20 degrees higher because there are fewer trees and green spaces and are more exposed to asphalt and black roofs. Equal World organizations are addressing the problems of lower income people. With climate racism and trying to gain justice for them, they are trying to come up with ideas on how to change the damages that has been done and help those people gain justice that they deserve. During this pandemic, you can help by holding an environmental conversation through the page. There are 5 to 20 participants of all ages, backgrounds, and political views, regardless of prior experience with the climate change. Help out today by gathering information about environmental justice organizations and joining them.
Hi, so I'm Matina. I'm the Policy and Program Coordinator in the Philadelphia Office of Sustainability, and I oversee the day-to-day of our environmental justice programming.
I have a couple of questions for you that involve environmental justice / injustice. So one of the questions I have for you is, what does the Office of Sustainability do to promote environmental justice?
So as you know, longstanding challenges of systemic racism have affected the outcome of neighborhoods in Philadelphia and all across the United States. Pollution and industrial areas are more likely to be in Black, brown, and low-income neighborhoods. So these differences contribute to inequality in health and well-being. And it also means that the impacts of climate change are going to impact these communities first and worst. So the Office of Sustainability works to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to mitigate the worst impacts of climate change and help Philadelphia residents prepare for those impacts.
Are there any projects that are currently happening in Philadelphia that focus on creating environmental justice?
Last month, Mayor Kenney announced the formation of the city's first Environmental Justice Advisory Commission. And this commission will assemble individuals with lived experience and personal interest in Philadelphia's environmental issues and uplift the leadership of frontline communities and work to develop plans and policy recommendations with the city government to help address environmental disparities between neighborhoods.
Are there things the citizens of Philadelphia can do to help support the Office of Sustainability?
Definitely getting involved with the Environmental Justice Advisory Commission, but there's also some awesome commissions that already exist that work on different issues related to environmental justice, like the Food Policy Advisory Council. But my number one thing that I always say is to get as politically engaged as you can. So continuing to mobilize and organize around environmental justice issues in your neighborhoods and in your communities, and voting and electing and pushing officials who are environmental justice champions is the most effective thing that we can do in creating the systemic change that we want to see. and long-lasting change. The Office of Sustainability this month actually put out a blog post that lists a lot of resources and ways to get in contact with different departments related to environmental issues. So that's a resource to check out.
While it may seem environmental justice is a hopeless cause, we have learned there are many initiatives in the works, as well as organizations and groups with the mission of correcting wrongs for environmental justices. I hope you benefited from the knowledge given this Saul Talk episode, and we encourage you to take action and be proactive towards ensuring all Americans experience environmental justice. On behalf of the class of 2021 Natural Resource Management students at WB Saul High School of Agricultural Sciences, we thank you for watching.
To learn more about our school and how to watch our Saul Talk,
follow us on Instagram at WBSaul_media.
We at Saul Talk believe everyone can participate and contribute towards correcting our environmental wrongs and problems.
Saul Talk is a WB Saul High School production featuring Sierra Brody, Ashante Carr, Zadia Liz Davila, Joshua McCuff, Elijah Mendoza, Anthony Rivera, and Sean Washington. Taught by CTE teacher and Saul Talk curriculum producer, Mr. Gregory Smith. Every day is Earth Day.